I am all for people asking for raises. So let me start with that. I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, a Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
Colin Cowherd absolutely dismantled Kelsey Plum on national TV, and there was no contest.
Colin Cowherd, I wonder if there was more solidarity behind Caitlin Clark, if there was more a unified front backing Caitlin Clark instead of blocking Caitlin Clark, I assume the owners would respect that. I assume the owners wouldn't be looking at the players like and just laughing when they get in the negotiation room.
While Caitlin Clark is reshaping women's basketball and securing the WNBA's future, Plum aimed a cheap shot at the very player driving the league's explosive growth.
I just think it just wasn't a smart thing for Kelsey Plum to have said. I fully believe she's just joking. I don't think there's any malice in this. Not only do I not think, I'm almost certain there's no malice in this. I think it's just a really bad joke. Not even a really bad joke, a joke that comes off the wrong way.
But Cowherd wasn't backing down. His take on jealousy, privilege, and the so-called golden goose is shocking. Here's the full breakdown. It all began with a protest. WNBA players donned T-shirts calling for better pay and fair treatment, a cause that's hard to argue with. Yet during this show of solidarity, Kelsey Plum decided to push it further. She specifically called out Clark's absence, saying 0 members of Team Clark were present.
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the T-shirt, just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Oh boy.
Colin Cowherd immediately grabbed the mic and fired back. His response? Why are you taking shots at the golden goose? And yes, that's exactly the phrase he used. Golden goose.
But why do you take a shot at the golden goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a 4 Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking.
Like it or not, Caitlin Clark is the one putting money in everyone's pockets. According to Cowherd, Plum and others are showing a total lack of gratitude. His analogy was brutal. WNBA players used to stay in Motel 6, and now they're living it up at the 4 Seasons. All thanks to one player. Just a few seasons ago, these athletes were flying budget airlines and even paying for water. Now, they're on private jets.
All right. What does that mean? Caitlin Clark has created the league. Caitlin can argue for more money, but you can't. Y'all been in the league all this time, and the revenue generation has come because Caitlin Clark primarily. That you can't make more. You can't make more money if you're not producing product. And then if you made money this year, ma'am, you've been losing. You owe the NBA back. Y'all can just lose and not pay anything back to the NBA. Like, to be honest, the first 10 years of y'all profitability need to go back to the NBA. You don't just get to say, I've been wasting y'all money for 20 years and now I'm finally made a profitable year because of one player. And, she get hurt. Ain't nobody watching it no more.
So how did this happen? Cowherd didn't just speculate. He showed the proof. Merchandise sales have jumped 500%. League-wide attendance is up 40%. And the Indiana Fever, once a financial disaster, now has a waiting list for season tickets.
Listen, NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years, they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation and they're on a heater.
And yet, Caitlin Clark finished 9th in the All-Star voting. 9th. Cowherd was stunned. He pointed out that the league's biggest draw, the player filling arenas and breaking merchandise records, was ranked below others by the very players benefiting from her success.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like. Iowa girl, Indiana girl. Well, who knows, and I've said this for years, when the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. So, there's obviously a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it.
And he's not wrong. That kind of ranking isn't about stats. It's about politics and resentment. Cowherd called it what it is. Plain, petty jealousy. He compared Caitlin Clark to other generational stars. When LeBron James entered the NBA, veterans weren't thrilled by his spotlight, but they respected his impact. When Tiger Woods took over golf, he transformed the game, and the tour had to adapt.
And this is what Tiger Woods did to the PGA Tour. Yes, Tiger made the most money, but he raised the purses in all tournaments and made a lot of people rich. That was the key. So this all-star rating is proving, despite losing 1 million viewers from last year, is that she has risen the entire league. This league is now a topic on all sports shows on all sports networks.
But in the WNBA, some players are still stuck in the past. Cowherd didn't mince words. You didn't like flying budget? She got you private. You're in luxury now. Stop complaining.
One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking.
Then he dropped the hammer. The Michael Jordan comparison. Just like MJ, Caitlin Clark is being physically targeted on the court, and just like MJ, she's dominating anyway. Remember the infamous Jordan rules used by the Detroit Pistons? The strategy was simple. Wear him down, physically and mentally.
Mac, the WNBA has arrived. Caitlin Clark's gotten really good really fast. It's like the end of year 1 for Michael Jordan or year 3 for Michael Jordan. She's gotten really good really fast. And you got to put a body on her or you got to double team her or she's going to embarrass you. She's shooting 33-footers. And what happened last night's a byproduct of that. This is what happened to MJ. She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season. And her game embarrasses you.
This wasn't just an interview. It was a statement. Caitlin Clark isn't showing up to play nice anymore. She's calling out false narratives, challenging authority, and owning every room she enters. Confident, unfiltered, and unapologetically herself, Clark is becoming the most powerful voice in women's basketball, and she's only getting started. Drop Clark Unfiltered in the comments if you're riding with her.